Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. This is Kathy, and I'll be creating a card doing the emboss resist technique. And I started out with a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock, and I'm using the birthday background stamp from My Favorite Things. What I like to do is place the background stamp onto a craft mat because the craft mat will hold the stamp in place. I inked it up with Versamark ink, which is a sticky ink, so that I could do some embossing. After I stamped it, I coated it with clear embossing powder and then heat set that with my heat tool until it was nice and melted. Once that was done, I let it cool off, and then I started to do some ink blending with a variety of Distress Oxide inks. And the colors that I use will pop up in the top left-hand corner for you. The inspiration for this particular card came from an event that My Favorite Things just held called Camp Create. Apparently my mojo decided to go on vacation without me, so I was in a slump and I really didn't know what to do. And while I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw a post by My Favorite Things about Camp Create, and I thought, well, maybe that'll give me a little bit of a jump start, and it did. It's very normal for me to have a big burst of creativity and then kind of go into a creative slump. It's like all of my creative energy is used up, and then I need to kind of take a break and step away and look at what other people are creating. Sometimes I have to just stay out of my craft room because I'll get a little bit discouraged that nothing is coming together the way that I had hoped that it would. But going to Camp Create definitely helped. So this was definitely a jumping point for me, and my mojo apparently has returned from vacation. Anyway, back to the card for just a minute. For the first go around of the ink blending, I'm pretty much just putting a layer of color down. I'm not worrying too much about getting a perfect blend because I'm going to end up going over it a second time. So it looks a little bit splotchy now, but once I go over it that second time, I'll end up getting a really, really nice blend. And with that, while I finish up the blending, I'll go ahead and play some music for you to enjoy, and then I'll be back to finish up the card. After I was done with the ink blending, I used a dry paper towel to buff off the embossing powder just to remove any of the excess ink. And off screen, I had die cut the words Birthday Wishes 3 times from white cardstock and stacked them up with liquid glue. I decided to put a vellum circle behind the die cut words just so that it would kind of soften the background and make the words pop up a little bit more. I used liquid glue to adhere the die cut words to the vellum circle, and I did manage to save the little dots for the eyes and was able to glue those down as well. I did not stack those, they were just entirely too small. I did run the inked panel through my die cut machine with a stitched rectangle die, and then adhered that to a piece of black cardstock cut slightly larger. I adhered that to the front of a top folding A2 size note card, and then adhered the vellum circle to the front of that. And to adhere the vellum circle, I applied glue behind the die cut words and then tapped off the excess so it didn't squish out, since you can sometimes see through vellum. Well, not sometimes, you can see adhesive through vellum. Next, I just scattered a few of those little sparkly things. They were from a previous Hero Arts kit. I'm not sure what they're called, but if I can find them, I'll link them down below. And to finish it up, I went over the die cut words with my Wink of Stella glitter pen, and that finishes up my card. So I'm curious as to what it is that you do to get yourself out of a creative slump. I would really like to know. Let me know down below in the comments, and thank you so much for tuning in today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, I'd love it if you would. And don't forget to ring the bell so you're notified every time a new video is posted. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.